Hello! This is a webinar that will cover the functionality that is most common with YCharts among investors. There are 5 main features of YCharts which are very popular with investors and investment professionals. The first of those is going to be idea generation. We call that our screening, and it's available through the tools drop-down. We have both equity screening as well as fund screening. To begin with the equity screener, you'll notice that we have over 22,000 equities. This is comprised of US and Canadian exchanges as well as ADRs. You can filter through that by clicking the Modify Equity Universe button in the top left corner. I can narrow that down by indices, by sectors, industries, geography, and so forth. And then I have the Add a Metric Filter button. For equities, we have over 4,000 metrics for each company with 30 years of history, and it is very easy to look up a metric such as a PE ratio using our intuitive search feature, and simply choose PE ratio, choose the operator. In this case, let's do less than, and then we can also showcase the ability to do custom arithmetic here. So I'm going to do a custom PE ratio less than 80% of a 3-year median PE ratio. That filters it down to 514 companies, and then I could continue to add filters on top of that. For the sake of time, just opening up a screen that I have already saved, we'll notice that I have not only a number of filters here, narrowing the universe down to 21 securities, but then I've also added a scoring column in here. This is a very powerful and unique tool within YCharts. It's available through the Scoring Models button right here in the middle. And what you will see is this ability to take any of those 4,000 metrics and aggregate them with your own weights. And you'll see in this case it's a PE ratio 30%, price to book value 20%, and so forth. And what that allows me to do is see that overall, based on my criteria, Valero Energy is number 1, Macy's is number 2. You of course can save screens just by going to the drop down in the top left corner, and you can export the data to Excel with one click of a button on the right with the Export Data button. Under the Tools drop down, going to the Fund screener, same layout, but just slightly different metrics and features relevant to funds. So under the Fund Universe button in the top left corner, it's going to be things like choosing between an ETF, a closed-end fund, an open-ended fund, choosing by Morningstar category name, by fund manager, fund family, brokerage availability, if you'd like to filter it down to only funds available through a particular custodian or broker-dealer. Share class is a great one, perhaps only an A share class or institutional. And then add a metric filter is going to be any of the 400 metrics or so that we have available for funds. It could be something like expense ratio. It could be any of the sector exposures, geographic exposures, risk metrics. We have all of the risk metrics you could possibly want for funds, and you can filter down according to any of those to create a very powerful screen here as well for ETFs or mutual funds. The second major use case of YCharts with investors is going to be from an analytics perspective. So looking at a particular company or fund, what we will see here is a great intuitive way to analyze the security. You'll see tabs along the top of the page here. In this case for stocks, we see fundamental charts, technicals, key stats, financials, estimates, and so forth. One of the beauties with YCharts is this ability to visualize the data, taking something like a PE ratio and saying, all right, what does that look like over the last 5 years? And then let's compare that to another security on the same chart. Let's also then compare that to another metric. So mix and matching multiple securities, mixing and matching multiple metrics, all in the same analysis here, makes it quite easy to add a visual component to your analysis. The technicals is going to be about 40 of the most popular technical indicators. Key stats is a great page, about 100 of the most popular metrics, all easily accessible in one place. Financials, I mentioned earlier, 30 years of historical financials. Great way to see the financial statements here. We have the drop down to toggle between different views, whether it be quarterly, trailing 12 months, common size statements, etc. If you'd like to get into any custom analysis, we love the Excel add-in that we've built out. This is something that you'll find in products that cost 3, 4, 5 times as much as YCharts, but the functionality is identical. Excel is linked to YCharts in the back end. Everything you see here is formulas, and if I change Intel to IBM and hit enter, you'll notice that it updates within a second. And this functionality here to be able to create these dynamically linked and updated spreadsheets, 100% customizable based on what the user wants to see with layout, metrics, look and feel. All of that is available to the client, and it's included with no additional subscription costs. We have a team here that will help with any customization here to these templates. If you have existing templates with syntax built out from other providers, we're very proficient with those conversions as well. And using Excel here not only saves people an immense amount of time, but also provides a lot of that unique customization that the front-end website might not provide. This here is an example of Excel for equities. We also, of course, have it available for funds. This here is an example of how you could put together a custom 2-page PDF report that is looking at a portfolio. Everything is driven off of just simply the list of tickers that you have in another tab entered in the spreadsheet here. So I've entered a list of ETFs and some weights for those holdings. Great way for people to keep track of model portfolios or a client's held away portfolio that they might be onboarding, looking at returns. Perhaps it's fundamental metrics of the portfolio, or maybe it's something like risk metrics for each of the individual securities, but then importantly aggregated up to a overall portfolio level. Something very unique about YCharts here, very powerful, very popular with advisors in particular. Third aspect of the tool, very popular with everybody, is going to be the charting functionality. And specifically the charts as it relates to telling a story to clients, prospects, internally. So it could be, all right, what is going on right now with the US dollar and pound exchange rate? We have over 300,000 economic indicators with full history. Very powerful to have all of that data at our fingertips. You can mix and match all of this data on the same chart here. Here is the US dollar to pound exchange rate. Perhaps I also want to overlay the USD yen on here as well. Or maybe I want to take something like the price of oil and look at the price of oil, but I want to look at that relative to ExxonMobil and look at what types of correlations am I noticing between a stock and the economic data. And it's great with these charts. You'll always see at the top of the chart the embed button that allows you to copy and paste this link and place it directly into a blog or a website, or the save image button, which allows you to take a PNG file and put that directly into a PowerPoint or Excel format, or even an email, customized with your logo even in the bottom left corner. Finally, the fifth use case of YCharts is going to be just the day-to-day workflow of an investor or an advisor. And that's going to be including our 2-minute delayed quotes, the news feed that we have here from sources such as MT Newswire, Seeking Alpha Breaking News, Yahoo, the ability to look at a watch list here and know that, all right, Industrials is underperforming for today, and utilities is outperforming. But how does that look like on a year-to-date basis? Let me go to the next tab over here. I can sort that really quickly and keep an eye and a pulse on what has been the best performers and worst performers of the year. All fully customizable here. When it comes to stocks, of course, the same functionality, but another great feature is the earnings calendar, as well as keeping an eye on dividend payments and splits, being able to set alerts around all of this so that you don't necessarily have to look at this on a daily basis, but you can have all of this automatically emailed to you to notify you of these events. It's a great, very powerful dashboard to keep an eye on everything. Couple complementary tools to this as well. The economic calendar, keeping an eye on what is being released on the economic calendar today, as well as yesterday and going forward for the next week or so, as well as our events calendar, which is going to keep an eye on perhaps the earnings calendar as we go through a popular time of the year like now, where there's a lot of earnings going on. Who is exactly releasing earnings today? Who's releasing earnings tomorrow, etc. So what you see here with YCharts is a very powerful tool, very applicable for investors and investment professionals, geared towards idea generation, helping them come up with new ideas, the analytics then of those securities, the ability to leverage Excel for custom analytics, and the efficiency and time saving that Excel can provide, removing any need for manual data gathering or manual data entry, the visualization of any of these data points to assist with marketing materials, communication, and so forth. And then last but not least, the daily workflow, keeping an eye on quotes, news, events, and so forth. We trust that you'll find the tool very intuitive to use, everything being web-based, point and click, use the back button if you ever get lost. But of course, if you do have any questions or you'd like any further support with us, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you for watching this.